Hello, this is Padded Room, my show talk thing where I talk about talking. I don't actually talk about talking. Well, I do now. Yeah, I am right now, so technically it would be that, but yeah. So yeah, this is the series where I do things that aren't playing games, and I just talk about things such as channel updates and whatever else I want to talk about. Talk. Cock. Yeah, so in this I have different segments, which I will go through, which I definitely did explain perfectly last episode. I explained them all flawlessly, was definitely not confusing. When I randomly was like, oh, now we're on to this now, and I'm talking about this now. Definitely wasn't at all confusing. Definitely not. Talking about segments, we're on from the intro segment to the channel update segment, which usually isn't that big of a segment, but this time it is. Hey, so I'm recording this after, slightly, at least 2 seconds after the actual recording. What I mean by that is an undetermined amount of time. So yeah, I may or may not have taken a break after my break. I was originally going to post this after I originally post the avatar reveal video, but I didn't. But yeah, now I'm actually going to start doing stuff again. Reason why I left? Well, there's various reasons, including, well, things such as comically large anvils falling on my head, and also pianos too. That's definitely why I didn't. But anyway, back, definitely, for real now. Totally, definitively, unabstractly, and clearly back. Probably. But yeah, this is addendums just because I, posted this slightly later than I intended to, so yeah. Also, there's another addendum later because there's a thing I didn't explain how I would have liked to, so, and I feel it's important to explain it properly, so yeah. Also, it's kind of why it took a little long, because sometimes the other thing, like, I wanted to explain it right, so recording it kind of made me wait a little longer, and that little longer took a little longer because of other things, such as the anvils and pianos falling on my head. So yeah, anyway, okay, back to the other, definitely very just seconds before me. Definitely recorded the previous thing seconds ago, and definitely not like a significant amount of time ago. Okay, here you can't really see you can kind of see the text there. Yeah, you can see it. It's fine. It's fine. Hee. Anyway, quick reminder: at the end of this video, there is a moral, which which is totally predetermined, and I don't just think about it on the spot. Everything in this is very intentional, and I am definitive, especially when it comes to the moral at the end of the episode. Yes. So, cool game, you can try to guess it if you want. Which means it's definitely not random, so it wouldn't be hard to guess at all. Well, not random, I mean, unpredetermined. Definitely don't just make it up. That's fine. Anyway, main channel update. I have my new avatar, which I actually made. It actually was a while ago, but actually was done for like a while. Slight while. It's been done for at least 2 days. 2 days. I'd say it's an improvement off the last one, definitely. Because the last one was, it had some flaws because it was kinda rushed, but also kinda not, yeah, it was done. I didn't refine the concept and such, the main character design as much with the first one. But after seeing the first one for a while, I was able to refine it more. So, like with the mouth, the edges of the old avatar's mouth kind of just jutted upwards at the edges. So they go up into a smile, then it'll like jut by the edges to make it like a more harsh edge of the smile. I kind of want to keep that kind of thing, but of course it looked weird, so instead of doing that, I kind of kept on with the face paint thing I have kind of going. Naturally, I added to the face paint thing, so it isn't just on the eye, kind of. Okay, so now it's on the edges of the mouth, which make it look like it's kind of doing the same kind of thing, but also it's not actually, so I think it looks good while also achieving the same effect. The colors are generally better, because I actually added a little bit of texture to the... I don't know if that's the right word, but like, yeah, each part of the clothes and such aren't just a flat color. Say the shading's better as well. Or the shady bits are better. Yeah, the design is better. I got the actual... Yeah, the cloak and such is actually a robe thing. Actually isn't just like a... Doesn't just look like a cloth now. It actually looks like a... Not cloth. It actually looks like a cool, crazy, cool thing. There's the cool eye thing. I think I like the eye thing that's on there. No, I won't tell you what it is. I won't tell you anything, especially the fact that my neck has glowiness on the bottom of it. I won't tell you why that is ever. That is not a lie. I always lie. Yeah, that's my new laugh. It's gonna stay forever. Anyway, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, it's generally the old one. I was had some perspective-y issues. So things didn't look right in some ways. I think it was fine, but this is definitely a good improvement. And there are no flaws with the new one. No flaws, no ever, and you can't see anything wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. Everything's correct, nothing's wrong. Especially in the background of this where the light doesn't make any sense if you actually think about it. Don't, the lighting in the background of the padded cell, don't look at that either. No flaws, it's perfect. Yeah, also, I am done my hiatus, which was at least 2 days, and not like, definitely not multiple months. Definitely not. No. At least 2 days long. Okay, at least 3 day long hiatus. Yeah. But yeah, the reason I did the hiatus was I wanted to finish the Avatar, and I didn't want to continue. So I wanted to start new games and such. And I wouldn't want to be like, after the first like 2 episodes of the game, I wouldn't want to just bring in the new one. I'd rather just start the newer games to the new Avatar. So if like new people watched because of the new games, it wouldn't be like, oh, old one, which is kind of worse, so it might deter people watching, and then new one coming in would be a little weird. Yeah, I just wanted it to be cleaner transition, I guess. So I did that, but then I kind of lost a bit of motivation. I kind of didn't... Of course, my channel is not doing the best. I thought I would have not at least 2 subscribers. Well, I have more than 2. I had 42, but then I lost a couple during my hiatus. But yeah, no, I didn't. I gained 13,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I meant 42,000. That's what I meant. I have 42,000. Yep. Mm-hmm. 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 That's weird. Anyway, but yeah, it never felt like the right time, and things kind of happened, which kind of like, I don't feel like starting now. Kind of distracted me from it. I feel like I need to be well motivated to start, because like also when I kind of more daunting to start, because now I'm intending to upload consistently and try to do multiple a day instead of just one, because with the way I edit videos, I don't edit much out, so it's hard for me to finish games as quickly. So it takes me a while, so with only 1 upload every day, so 2 every day would allow me to start finishing games quickerly. Anyway, new games I intend to, so my plan right now is to play the games I've been uploading a bit, just so I can get back into things, and then after I do that, I'll play some new ones, and then I'll get some of the old ones, and maybe a couple more new ones. And then I'll just do the cycle of going, like, yeah, the cycle of life and death. I will enact the cycle of life and death into my content. Enact the cycle of life and death into my content. That actually means everything if you understand it. It means everything if you can understand it. Ooh. Yeah, the full channel rebrand thing, well, not rebrand, but redesign is over. The banner was done a while ago, the profile picture done a while ago. Now the avatar kind of is the last thing I needed to do. And the voice and the new microphone. Yeah, that also. New microphone? No, not new microphone though. Better audio quality, yeah. Yeah, I figured that out and got some upgrades, so. Not microphone, microphone's the same, but. I slightly felt like I was gonna vomit there, and but anything else at the channel. And yes, the avatar does have emotions like the last one did. It has, which ones? I won't show you them because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But, wait, no, that's not those. But yeah, so there's the happy one, which is the normal one. There's a more casual one, where my mouth is kind of less, you get what I mean. Then there's an angry one. Then there's a sad one, which I didn't have before. And then there's a, hurt one, which I also had before, which I think is a big improvement on the old one. Because I used that one, I think, a bit more, so... And I like the way it turned out, so... So I have 5 in total, including the normal one. Not gonna show them yet, you have to actually see them in action. No spoilers! There's no, like, hyper one where I bounce a bit like the old one had, because I think it's kind of redundant to have 2 happy ones, like with big, one just bounces a bit more, and is a slightly happier. Because I have a normal one and a happy one. So having an extra happy one would be, or hyper one would be weird. Also, it was the kind of annoying to do the different emotions, but I don't want to think about that ever again until I make the newer one, which I'll eventually do. Probably not for a while though. Might be a year or 2 years until I do that. Who knows? I'll do it when I want to. Well, I'll do it when my drawing ability is capable of doing something which is better than the best avatar ever created. And potentially I'll go into different, better type of avatar, different kinds of Philippine G-tube thing that are more fluid. Because then there's VTube stuff, which I don't know about that, I don't know. Because of course I have to make it if I did, and it seems... I think it's something, if making a good one could cost you, or buying one, commissioning one could cost like $1,000 to $10,000. Feels like it'd be hard to do if it cost that much. It seems like a little hard to do if it, you know, cheap car. It's same as a cheap car. That's cheap, depending. Well, yeah, cheap. It depends. Yeah, I did make all the art for it as well. I created it. The channel banner I create, all my thumbnails I create. Background. Well, I don't create the art in the thumbnails well, I used to a long time ago, but it's hard to do pixel art for things, and also it was just kind of draining. And the earlier art was kind of wasn't good. And if I wanted to be good, it'd have to take longer, which would But yeah, I edit the thumbnails, I edit the videos, do all that stuff. So yeah, I actually have a huge team working constantly to create better. I have my art. I have 3 art guys, 3 editing guys, 3 masturbators, 3 vocalists, 3 art directors, 1 porn director, 2 anal experts. 2 anal experts. Well, 2 are anal experts, as in they know I have a deep and anal knowledge in things, and the other are experts in the arts of anal. Ooh, my voice ain't so good, right? Ooh, I'm not used to I'm not used to talking this much. I'm making this voice probably ain't helping. Making this voice, ooh, probably not helping very much. No, not helping very much. But yeah, my spirit has been invigorated. And due to my 3 masturbators, my soul I'm now erected as well, so yeah. I feel renewed. I'll try to be better when making content now. I've had some time to reflect on some things, think a bit. Mentality's changed a bit. My mentality's been chained for so long. Now I'm finally ready to break free. Yeah, doing that isn't helping my throat very well. It's not gonna help. Maybe it will. Things are saying. Oh, that's horrible. Oh no, don't do that. Okay. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for channel updates. So you should figure it out on your own. anything important, you should just know, honestly. You should just know. Anyway, next segment. So now we're on to the main topic, well, first topic, which is just the topic on, well, segment on the topic, which is, since I have more channel updates, I'm now going to talk about my channel for a little bit, because this kind of seems on topic. This is my new laugh. I'm definitely gonna do it. Always. It would be funny if every time I think I'm doing the same laugh every time I do that, but it's actually slightly different. Notably different. That'd be funny. But I'm also magenta now, more actually. The other one was actually kind of reddish pink, but now I'm actually a bit more magenta, so that's magenta. So earlier I talked a bit about my editing style. So I'm gonna go in a little bit more. I don't know if I've talked as much about things like that, but I'm gonna now. So the reason I edit the way I do is I don't like the whole fast editing thing, and I feel kind of takes a bit of the it takes the rawness out of it, if you get what I mean. The makes things feel a little more manufactured, like not everything is in certain little moments that could be in there, like a little more calm moments where you're just walking around in a game. You're like, oh, that's cool. Might be in higher, like, you have like you have like an hour of recording and you cut it down to like 8 minutes. Or so I think now longer-ish. I don't know. I haven't been looking at much at the gaming sphere lately. Kind of just, especially because might want to play some games. So watching people play games that I might end up wanting to play wouldn't be good. Also, I kind of just don't want to. Occasionally do, but well, I do, but select depends. Yeah, I edit much less. It's only like, so if I have a 40-minute video, I may only edit a 5 minutes or 10 minutes out, which a lot of that would just be nothing anyway, just me walking from a place I've already been to before to somewhere else just to check something maybe, or me just doing nothing, or doing the same thing over again. So if I do the same thing over like 5 times, I may edit a little bit of that out, because it seems just a little repetitive, though I do leave it in notably, so I just crank it up, but I don't actually edit the whole thing out, so it's obvious that there was, so you can see that I was doing something over and over again. Depends on what it is, so it's very case specific, but yeah. I also don't do many interesting edits, like, whoa, big zoom, text, subtitles, and boom, or memes, or anything like that. The meme thing is, with certain, like, things like that, like, kind of age the contents. If you use, like, current memes, and you go back and watch the video, like, 3 years later, it'll kind of look worse. Well, I want my videos to kind of be timeless in a sense, and that you can kind of watch them you could watch them like 10 years from now, and they won't be as bound to current events and such. Which is also why I don't mention pop culture stuff, because then it's like, oh, blimity blammo, this guy I'm fighting right now, he's like blimity blammo, and then 10 years later, so oh, that happened, that happened, that guy was. That guy was crazy. It was 10 years ago, though. Kind of feels weird. Especially that you said it 3 times in this video already. And also the edits, I don't like them. The edits don't like it. I also would take more effort, and I don't like it, so I don't know, I'd put more effort to make it worse. Because my editing, I don't think I'd ever actually improve it, because it's already how I want it to be, so yeah. And thumbnails, hopefully they're visible, because I know, like, kind of, they should be visible to people, but I put a good bit of effort into them. So though my content in my personality isn't always the most serious, I do kind of take the thumbnail seriously, because I don't put like a big, like, wow, that happened. Oh yeah, I don't put a in my thumbnails. I don't. Oh. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't put a ho 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 in my thumbnails. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't put a ho ho ho. I feel like my throat is closing in on me. I don't like that. Anyway, but yeah, I try to make the thumbnails look good, and like more so represent what happens in the game, or in general at the moment, so I gotta take direct screenshots from the game and put them in the thumbnail and try to make it like a representation of the thumbnail and possibly the series. So in the Left 4 Dead ones, each thumbnail I try to put a different one of the zombies in it, and one that possibly is relevant to the episode, if possible, though I do like trying to put different ones in each one. Yeah. I do mess with certain things like the saturation and putting like... I do like putting bars on the top of the bottom. I think that looks good. Before my 2-day long hiatus, I did start trying to put the like a vignette, like a kind of a dark circly thing around the outside instead, just to see what that looked like. But yeah, talked a bit about my content, now a bit about the history of my channel. Yeah, originally it began without an avatar, then I kind of went to like having one specifically at the start. You'd be like, hello, I'm playing this game, and I'd move him around like, ooh, ooh. I want to do it because I want to, yeah, I'll do it. Ooh, ooh, I'd go like this, ooh, ooh, I'd move like this, ooh. You're like, hello, I'd be like, hello, it's this, I'm doing Sex Simulator. Let's get to the pounding. Get to the pounding. Now you may be asking, which sex simulator am I talking about? Well, all of them. Anyway, but yeah, then I went to my old avatar, and now I'm at my current avatar. Thumbnail history. Originally, I drew thumbnails, but they weren't good, so I moved on to the pixel art, which seemed to do better-ish, though I think I did good for that, but it took way more effort than just... Because I originally didn't have a image software, so the reason I drew them is because I couldn't get images because I didn't have an editing thing to make the thumbnails with. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll draw them, yeah. Which is why the pixel art thumbnails have like the number is drawn in instead of like text based, like a text bubble or text box. But then after that I got into kind of my thumbnail thing, but I got into the actually crafting a thumbnail with like the editing stuff with the images and such. I eventually got into putting the my avatar's face in the thumbnail. Those are my least favorite, except maybe some of the earlier drawn ones. They're probably some of my least favorite thumbnails, probably, but which is why I moved on. Then as an experiment, I'm kind of experimenting with them still. But yeah, back then I was, but now I am still. But eventually got into the bar thing where I had like the bars at the top of the bottom. Started playing around with the saturation. I think a bit before that, I started like saturating things more or less, changing the blur on the background and stuff like that. Now, kind of to current stuff, which I kind of do similar kind of things. I'm probably gonna experiment a little more. So I like putting the game title in the thumbnails. I've always done that because I kind of like being clear, and I also like being like, when you see the thumbnail, you know exactly what game it is. I also put the episode number in the thumbnail, so you can tell what part it is, so you know when you're clicking on it isn't like part 18, you're like, oh, is this the first episode? Oh, it's episode 18, I guess. Oh, okay. So you know immediately, so you like maybe can pause it and then go to the playlist if you feel like it. Which I put at the start of videos, usually. The playlist for this series, I think. Like a card, it's like the thing in the top right that you can click on or something. Yeah, put the part number and the series in the title as well. Yeah, how I title the videos. Kind of like a TV show. I think I've talked about some of this before, but now I'm going a little more deep-ish or all at once, I guess. But kind of like a TV show kind of thing. It's like what TV shows do. It's like episode 5, Anal Epiphany, or 50 Caliber, or something like that. They're kind of like maybe something, or shot glass, maybe like a shot glass is important to the episode, then there's some symbolic meaning or something. You try to name it like so if there's like a joke, a recurring joke in the episode, maybe I'll make that the title, or the word title. There's like first half, which is the flavor title, so it's like, wow, I got pounded. No, I wouldn't name it that. It'd be painfully pounded, which is I think a real... Yeah, that is a real thumbnail. I mean, title I made. Was that was that in episode 19? I think it might have been. Yeah, it was around the time I put my avatar's face in the thumbnail, so I think it... Might have been. And then there's the second half, which is the like Ultra Kill episode 9 or whatever. Yeah, I wanted this one to be shorter. I don't know if it's actually gonna be shorter than the other ones. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, buddy. I don't know if it's gonna be shorter. I'm not through the first topic yet. The other ones I'll just go through them a little faster. A little history-ish on my channel. Subscribers, I intended to have more by now. I thought I'd have like 100. Don't have half of 100. Hope I'd have a little more by a year of my channel, which I intended to start uploading it on the anniversary date, which is April 1st, which also means that everything I ever do is a joke. So whenever I say I'm going to blow up government buildings, it is a joke. Ha ha. I say that like I say I'm going to blow up government buildings like every episode. Like, hello, this is Ultrakill. I'm going to blow up some government buildings. Bye-bye, Pentagon. Anyway, Burj Khalifa, I don't know if that's a government building, but bye-bye. I'm going to tip like a needle on a clock. Leaning Tower of a Pizza? Yeah, it's not leaning that much yet. I mean, I'm just like blowing up cultural buildings now. Germany? Oh, don't need that anymore. And I don't know if it's even worth the risk of keeping them around, because you know what's happened last 2 times we kept them around. So is it really worth it, blow up Germany or another one? If you get what I mean. But the moral dilemma, and that should be a future thing I question. Blow up Germany or World War III. That's a weird dilemma. Anyway, I didn't expect my throat to be this rusty. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's about a bit on my channel. But yeah, this is a bit on it in general, so yeah. Next segment, finally. Now onto a topic which is definitely a real word. Ingenuine culture. Definitely a real word. I don't know. Definitely. It seems like a word. It seems like one. Hey, here's the other addendum I mentioned in the previous addendum, because I feel like I didn't explain this. I didn't adequately explain the point I was trying to make about genuineness. I don't know if I actually say like ingenuine. Might be disingenuous, but that's I think used more as a point of like a conversational term, like used for a way someone like more of a trait, disingenuous. So I don't know, but it works. It's again in a word like I guess would like I think it's I don't know. It's just there. It makes sense because I said it did. So basically, I feel there's a lack of genuineness, and which is not good. I don't like it, but I think it's definitely clear. I think there's multiple reasons, but I think I can see a clear part of it at least. But so my main point is that I think in a way, or I guess a way to describe it is that I think people have learned to somewhat hate genuineness, or at least has become the social norm to be against it in a way, which I think this disliking of genuineness has somewhat led people to feel like they need to be better than being genuine. Because of course, if genuine is seen as a bad thing, people would want to be the opposite, or I guess what isn't genuine, which would be being ingenuine, or what it doesn't matter what it makes. It's ingenuine inside of the genuine. So I think evidence of this is that there's definitely so I think like one of the things is the ironic humor, I guess, or like saying things ironically is part of it, and also like the self-deprivation humor kind of thing, and also like a need for like the whole like need to be like self-aware, I guess. So I think the whole irony thing is that it's effectively being ironic is a way to separate yourself from genuinely thinking certain things, or like showing a passion, I guess, or a genuine enjoyment for certain things. So instead, you find things that other people would, I guess, or weirder things that other people would perhaps also dislike, and they're like, oh. But yeah, so yeah, the irony separates you from being genuine instead of actually just genuinely finding things that you can, like, genuinely, like, joke about, like, things that you enjoy and stuff. Or genuine, like, jokes that you make yourself, but are a little more, maybe, like, a more experimental or weird. Also, I think the ironic thing kind of, like, since everything's ironic, so, like, or not ever, that sounds stupid, but, when, like the ironic thing, or kind of, like, making fun of the joke as you say the joke, I guess, kind of makes it so people who'd be more prone to more, like, weird and, I guess, unconventional or not normal jokes, or I guess taboo, I guess, things, are pushed away from being genuine, which I think is another thing, but I'll stay on this point for now. But so the self-degradation jokes is that I think people want to share something about themselves, but they can't just be genuine about it. It has to be in a degrading way, and you can't just, because you can't, like, share positive things about yourself, because I think a lot of people, like, really dislike narcissism, see other people be confident, which is confident, like, it's like confidence typically could come, or being, like, it can come from a genuine, like, trust in yourself and, like, confidence in your abilities, so people could see that, like, it's like a genuine thing. So I feel the reason that people don't like sometimes just, yeah, the reason they don't like it as much is because it's, like, kind of the genuine aspect, so it has to be, so to express yourself in this way, it has to be deprivating, and it can't be, he's like, there's way more, like, oh, I'm my horrible sleep schedule and my horrible eating habits, instead of, wow, my impeccable diet and my immaculate sleeping schedule. Like, you see much more degrading humor, I guess, like, self-expressing, like, making, like, jokes of yourself, rather than confident, like, wow, I'm doing so good at the gym right now. So, like, when you're genuine, it can't be a good thing, because genuine is, like I said, seen as, like, a bad thing. So you can't treat it as a good. It has to be, like, the genuineness has to be a bad thing. It's more socially acceptable for genuine things to be bad than good, which I think that kind of brings it to the point of, and just, like, overly hating things. I guess there's a need to say, or to be really, I guess, contrarian, or not, like, necessarily that, but to be like, oh, this thing other people like, I hate it, and they're stupid for liking it. And it seems like when people, like things that other people dislike, they always have to say, like, oh, I know it's bad, or this part of it is bad, but I still love it anyway. Like that kind of thing. Like, they have to admit that their genuine like of that thing is bad. So the genuineness has to be with the caveat, I guess, or the addendum. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it has to come with it being in a negative, like a level of negative to it. Like, it can't just be like, I disagree with the criticism and I like it anyway, or whatever. And also, it seems that there's a level of caring about things, like a positive, like, liking to things, like a lot, or being really invested in certain things is often seen as a negative thing. So you'd be like some people might, like, if there's something you like and you, like, cry over it, or, like, something like that, or get angry over it, it's often seen, like, so, like, getting mad at games is an example, because, like, it's seen as a bad thing, even though it's seen as, like, a flaw of, like, I guess, or getting mad at games is just the best example, but seen as a weakness, when I guess it's like a expression, which is good. So when people cry over things, it's like, oh, well, you're really crying over that, or, like, it seems to, like, wanting to show that expression and actually doing it over things that other people don't, I guess, that aren't socially accepted to be deemed to be worth crying or getting angry, or, I guess, really happy over, too. It's generally, anger and sadness are seen as, like, generally anger is disliked. more, so that's why anger is typically getting angry over things, or I guess sad. I guess the two of the more extreme emotions, but which is why they're typically the ones which are targeted, I suppose. I don't see anger as a bad thing inherently. It can be, but I don't see it as like an evil, which is just like part of humans, I guess. I don't see it that way. But I think like the dislike of anger is similar into the dislike of confidence, because anger generally is a more confident emotion typically. Is being compared to being sad. It's okay to be sad about things because it's like a negative, like, oh, I'm sad. But I guess being angry, I guess you see it's like a confrontational, like, I guess, or what's the like word, a strong belief in something, in like confidently. So it also ties into the confidence thing. I guess think that of course there's other reasons to hate anger, because anger can generally, it can be bad, pretty bad times, but it doesn't have to. No, so I think genuineness being seen as a negative, because there's like a lot of people who, like, a lot of times when people have to like comment on things or whatever, they have to say like, oh, I don't mean to be controversial, or I don't mean to be political, but like they have to honesty and just actually like being genuine. Like you have to like weigh the balance of it, because of course why? Because people see being genuine as a bad thing to some degree, which you have to counterbalance with like, oh, I don't mean to be this, but it's kind of like a concession of what you're saying is, it's like conceding to some level of what you're saying is like, also I think it is a confidence thing, because it's like, these people don't like this confidence, I think, to some degree. So you have to kind of lower the confidence, maybe like, I know this might offend some people, but, so I think there's a notable apathy, I guess, which is part of things, like certain things. Like, there's a level of apathy I've noticed with certain things that people just are like, nah, I don't, like, I just don't talk about certain things, like, I don't care about that, which are more important things, like, also could be, like, political or moral, which I don't really see a difference between the two, but, well, there is a difference between political and moral, though. I think being apolitical kind of makes you amoral, to a degree. He's like, political, his morality when applied in politics is kind of where what actually matters. So saying I don't mean to be, like, not wanting to be political also, and just kind of is like you're saying I don't care enough about morality to actually want things to change, to be better, is basically saying that. So, but anyway, but I think like a maturity, I guess, like a, people need to be like mature, which ties into like the, oh, you shouldn't be angry about that, or you shouldn't cry about that. That's childish of you, or whatever. Like people like feel the need to be mature and not, and that caring about unimportant things is a, like, I don't know the word. I guess a weakness, I guess would be the word used. But I think a bit ago, like or still now, I think like video games had the same kind of thing, that caring, like liking, like playing games is seen as just a total waste of time by some people. Still now, but I think lesser, I think. There's kind of that mentality, and that's kind of, because of course the argument is that's not, it's just different. I guess it's more fringe, and they don't see the value in it. So it has to fit into the values of their systems, I guess. I guess, yeah, but I think I conveyed that point. But I think that people don't like, a lot of people don't like in here, but like they really, or some things can be summed up as people despising caring about things and like emotion to some degree. Like there's a level of like, oh, you're offended that I made fun of you? Wow, that's stupid of you. And that, like, the kind of like an expectation to just be apathetic and uncaring about certain things. There's a lot of like, I'm speaking in a lot of like generals, like general, like not very specific things, because it's hard to get specific because there's a lot of applications of it. But I think the reason I say people hate genuineness is I feel there's a system which rejects it. So the whole ironic thing, and like the whole irony, and the whole needing to temper being genuine with the whole, like, needing to like counterbalance it with like, oh, I know I'm a stupid, or oh, I know this thing's stupid, but I like it anyway. Like that kind of thing. Like, this conditions people to not to want to actually just say things they like and need to appeal to the general standard of it more, which leads people to, in turn, adopt this way of communicating, I guess, or just being, and which naturally, this aversion to genuineness becomes more of a hatred in a way. I don't think most people would say they hate genuineness, but I think there's a underlying, like, for it in them, which they don't. I don't think most people, if you ask, like, oh, do you hate people being genuine? I don't think they'd say yes. But I think, like, I don't think most people understand why they believe the things they do, or like why they. I think most people are really on understanding themselves, which is why a lot of people have. Which is why internal issues can be such a problem. Also, like the people like don't like being challenged on beliefs, because it would mean thinking about their beliefs, which I think a lot of people just see certain things as like set in stone. And like they see things as objective. Like a lot of people use the word objective a lot. Like, oh, this is objectively this, or that is objectively that, when really nothing is really objective when you think about it, because everything is just thoughts in our heads. And even like everything that we know is really just a thought, which means everything is really just subjective, because everything is as described from a person's point of view. Because everything is really just a description from people's points of view, which means it's all really subjective, but using objective in like looking at a skyscraper and be like, oh, that's an objectively tall building. Like, it's okay to use it in that sense, because this being like, oh, you can't say the word objective. Like, it's like used in that sense, but people, I think, see it in a beyond scale more so for certain things you can't really use it for. Just because I think just people don't want to think about it, because I think that also comes from a distaste for, I guess, or aversion to being genuine. But anyway, back on track. But another reason is that people are, for enjoying things, or like, for example, like someone like post a picture of themselves and then people say like, oh, you look kinda ugly, you stupid dog. Like, I don't know, it's like this, like that is like an aversion to genuine. Or like other things, or like they say like what they believe about a specific thing, and then people are like, oh wow, this thing really sucks. Chocolate cake, what are you, a little chubby child? A stupid little sugar boy, But I think it also comes from an overly antagonistic attitude, because like it seems that disliking things is just more acceptable, and just like casually like insulting people, I think, has become more accepted. And of course, generally taking offense to that is seen as a bad thing in a way, which kind of perpetuates the cycle of it. So, which of course people then stop trying to be genuine to kind of be smooth, so there's nothing that can be caught on. Because of course, if someone catches on, like it speaks about a specific thing about you, since saying negative things is getting more common, people feels they might as well just not share things about themselves, because there'll be something bad. Which of course I think it's not necessarily in the like, you post a picture and someone's like, oh, you look like a slime dog. You look like you just came out of the bog. Like us, like that, but more like a subtle, like a casual sense. Like for example, baldness is seen as like the hairline thing. People probably genuinely, of course, people like having hair, and they might be insecure about their hairline, but when people make jokes about like people having like, oh, look at the hairline, I could put like a whole plate of spaghetti on that before I even reach the hair, whoa, like that kind of thing. Like, I could eat off that forehead, I could eat a buffet off that thing, oh. I don't know what that oh was, but yeah, it's like the kind of casual, like the more like negative things is more acceptable, I guess. But yeah, to summarize, I think there's a general greater acceptance of being uncaring and mean, I guess, or being negative, which perpetuates the retreat of being true to yourself as a natural reaction to that. Because if you don't have anything on the table, you don't have anything to lose, kind of thing. But of course, people still want to be genuine, so they have to temper it by like balancing the scales, I guess. It's hard to speak in like this abstract level, but I think I got the point across better than I did the first time around. But yeah, I think it's a bad thing that this lack of, like, it's like of course there's other reasons for the whole lack of genuine thing, because a lot of people kind of adapt traits from social media or just like YouTube videos and whatever, which of course the way the YouTubers or whatever act is in line with, like, they have to act in line with the terms of service, and they have to act in line of, okay, I'm not saying like spreading your butthole open in the middle of the streets that's not exactly what I'm going for. Like, oh, I can't believe people don't want me to spread my butthole and crap on birds. Like, that's not the kind of genuine I'm talking about, but the crapping on birds thing kind of wiped my brain there for a second. But yeah, so also they have to, it's like their careers, so it's like there's more incentive to be sterile because of say something in a certain, there's a worry that if you say a certain thing, you'll lose an audience, or you try something new that you care about, you'll lose your audience, which you'll lose your income, which is not very good. So, and as online media becomes more mainstream, it'll affect more and more people, which is why I think it's been a bit more common, though a lot of this is from online stuff, but it's less in person, which I guess the reason people don't in person is because it's more genuine to be in person. So people, I think, just generally, like, yeah, it's the whole like online, it's like a shield, I guess. Oh yeah, that's it. But yeah, I just want more genuineness. Now, this isn't like, this whole thing isn't like like trying to have a Wild West where anything can go or whatever. Because I don't think bad things should be encouraged. Like, oh, I love eating babies. Like that, no. I'm not saying it's bad to criticize bad things. It's just that it's hard to tell the difference sometimes online when people, like, if someone's like, or like there's a game that came out and people don't like it, and someone's like, this is literally the worst thing I have ever seen. And then that same person go see someone who's like, oh, I love eating babies. And they say the exact same thing. Like, oh, this is the worst thing I have ever seen. Like, it's different. Like, people have trouble communicating. And I think people are unwilling to try to branch that gap. Because I think when people say the same thing, they actually mean different things sometimes. But anyway, I'll leave that on that. But anyway, because this is a addendum, I should say that I do indeed have plans for other games other than the at least two games I have been playing. I have other games which I could play, but I'm paranoid that the recording will be weird, which is why I don't. So, yeah, that is the reason why I don't play more games. Also, I'd have to upload more to get in more games, which I'm going to, but alright, that's the addendum. Back to your regularly scheduled regularly scheduled me. Or I guess not too regularly, because I took like 1 billion years to post again, but it's yeah. Okay. Actually, the next segment, which is the world's biggest questions, questions. questions, which are 3 of the world's biggest, definitely the most important questions. I've selected the most interesting or important questions. So let's get into the first one of the world's biggest questions. All right, if a tree falls, does it really make a sound? And such. Kind of, if no one is there to see it, did it really happen in a sense? So basically, first answer is if I say it happened, it happened. Second is scientific answer, which is the yes. If a tree falls, typically it probably makes a sound. Why would you have to observe it for it to happen? Unless we're in a simulation or something like that, then it wouldn't render the sound being made. So simulation for optimization, unless it's a really unoptimized simulation, then I guess it would. But so I do realize this is like very similar to the last episode of this I made, but it's a bit different. It's like I talked about different things. It's similar things, but different. With the whole genuine thing, but probably won't talk about that for a while now, but yeah. If a tree falls, does the tree have sex with the earth if it penetrates the ground? Well, no, there's no dick into the earth. The stupid question, you did ask that. I heard it in your mind. You really wanted me to answer that question, and no, the tree, when it falls and the branches penetrate into the ground, the tree does not fuck the earth. Stupid question. Stupid. You're so stupid to ask that question. If the tree fucks the earth. Anyway, next question. I feel I answered that one quickly. I didn't need any more. These aren't meant to be quicker than the other ones, but the... Okay, perfect height and length. So basically, in height, there's a certain threshold to where your back will start hurting over time, which I think is like 6'1" onward. But then there's also a threshold. So being over 6 is not good. But also being short, it means you're short. Which isn't necessarily bad, so I guess the height you prefer would be the perfect height, but... You know, perfect. Of course, if you're short, then you have a disadvantage when Slender Man attacks you. Because you'll have such a big height advantage, you need as much height as you can get. So obviously, either right to under 6, so you don't start feeling the height disadvantage, or 6, so you get the instant 6 feet tall, so you get the immediate charisma boost. So it's a choice, exactly 6, but for the downside of back pain, but you get the charisma boost, or slightly under 6, so you basically get a height advantage, but without the downside. Now, perfect length. Now, there's a lot of discussion about the length. And I'm talking about the length of penis, obviously. You didn't think I was talking about... You thought I was like a fake, like, oh, length. Oh, I'm tricking you, thinking about... I'm talking about penis. Yeah, I'm talking about penis. I'm only talking about penis. I've only ever talked about penis. Get your head into the gutter. Sounds like a way to tell someone to off themselves. I'm sorry, kill themselves, but that word could be dangerous to say on this, but yeah. I didn't tell anyone to do it, so it's probably fine. Of course, I do like my YouTube channel, so I kind of need to be careful about what I say sometimes, but I'm not gonna do the blackface episode. I don't think I should. I don't think that, though it would be not funny at all. That's the sound I make when I blink. It's like a metal, like hitting. It's like a hammer, when I wink. Because I'm so strong, obviously. Okay, so perfect length. Well, the perfect length is exactly 7 inches. The average is 6. And some people say over 7 is too much. So to maximize no discomfort from being too much in general, well, it depends. If someone is like wide, then they'll need a little more, maybe. Though, does it really make a difference? Well, it does, but is it really that much? It's not that much worse. I went from pretending that I didn't know. I don't know anything about being penetrated. Does my avatar make you think? Does a person who uses an avatar like mine look like they'd like being penetrated? Really ask yourself that. Really ask yourself that. But anyway, you need, of course, a lack of length could be perceived as being bad, though. Of course, these two things, height and length, are very subjective. So I guess like a best middle ground of being, for some people might like it smaller because I guess aesthetic maybe they just don't want one even. Sometimes, yeah, that happens. But what really matters is me moving on to the next thing because long time. It's way longer than I want it to be. All right, classic question. Not at all. Did I spell length with an F in it? Ignore that. All right, classic question. Red pill or blue pill? More so in the sense of, would you rather be ignorant to the true knowledge and nature of your reality and all the potential horrors potentially allowing you to feel good without knowing these things? Or would you rather know the truth and perhaps be made uncomfortable by it? Obviously, you choose Viagra. I'm just kidding, you take both to see what happens. You pretend to take the red pill, I took it, tell me the truth now, tell me the truth. And then they tell you the truth, and if you don't like it, you're like, Pah! And you take the blue pill. Oh, I didn't eat it, give me the blue pill now, and then you eat it. But I'm a truth guy. I'm for the, I need to find Bigfoot. I'm out there for the truth. What moral truth? No, I'm talking specifically about cryptids and folklore creatures. What do you think? What do you think I was talking about? Morality? I hate morality. The only moral here is the moral at the end of this show. Anyway, the idea that knowing the truth is generally better. It's good just kind of ignore it still. People do a pretty good job at doing that, even when they know the truth, so pretty easy to just ignore it still and be ignorant, so yeah. Taking the red pill. Cyanide. It's actually cyanide. Anyway, on to the silly segment. So the silly segment is I choose a random segment out of a sorted segments and I improv whatever it is. Most of the things are kind of improvisational, but kind of just an outline with all the things, the topics, but now it's really random. How did I choose them? How did I? Yeah, this don't worry, it's random. Hey, gonna randomly select it. There is a 8-sided dice, so it's possible it could be 8, which would mean I'd have to add a new segment to the silly segment list, but there's only 7, but it's totally actually random. There's never repeats. Yeah, never. Okay, let's see. 2. Not $2. No. Ooh, I like this one. Greatest inventions. I will need select a problem and come up with an invention to solve that problem. Now, I talked about people possibly policing and being mean for like 2 episodes, or maybe just this one, but a little bit, maybe. I don't know. But it is a problem, so how do you stop that? Well, there's a simple solution. The meanness mortifier. It is a backpack you put on your back. It has like a big tube thing which goes up into a face, which is like, it looks like a natural, but anytime anyone is mean to you in your vicinity, or as a tech device, so it can also be online and such, it does like a crazy evil scowl, kind of like at them, which causes them to feel immense fear and immediately causes 5 seconds of total organ failure before they're fine. So there's only a 3% death rate. And anytime anyone is mean to you, unless it's me, I'm immune to it, and so I can say whatever I want. It's kind of like a face where it like goes, and then if they see it, they go like, it puts them in a permanent fear state for the next 24 hours. It actually scales for how mean you are. So if they say something passive aggressive, it like puts them into like a paranoid state for the next 24 hours. But if it's like, they're like, fuck you, you deserve to die, it'll basically make them ball up into the ground or something like that for a whole 24 hours, which is rather horrific, but it's called the meanness mortifier for a reason. Mortifying. So did I just make that up? Is that, I'm just making sure that's a word. Mortifying. Yeah, mortified. Oh, it's actually embarrassment. Okay, that actually makes sense. Okay. It's not fear, but it can also cause fear. No, it just causes fear. The name, don't critique me, you idiot. It makes them paranoid. Yep, that's kind of makes sense. Kind of. But paranoid, like, you know, yeah. All right, no, it also causes fear. That's totally, the fear thing is just the face is scary. Yet also, though the fear kind of overwhelms the ashamedness or whatever. Because the faces are so scary, so yeah, just over. Yeah, I just forgot it. You know, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot. Anyway, it appears it needs to end now. I think this has been a good episode. A little serious, a little funny. Talked about the changes of my channel. Things I don't like, such as people not being themselves. Again, I actually never talked about that before. Whether or not a tree falls if you kick it, that's what that question was. Perfect height and length. Penis height. Long person length. Matrix reference. And made a cool invention. Pretty interesting, but now it is time. Because everything was interesting. I think let's just get on to the moral. There's nothing else to add. Also, my throat hurts. No, it has nothing to do with the penetration thing already. No. That's silly boy. No. That's not sexual at all. All right, you got me. I was shucking some slong earlier. You got me. Anyway, the moral. So, think about what happened in this episode, and think what the moral could be before I tell you so you can guess what it is. For bonus coins of non-existent value or existence. They're coin. Do the coins really exist if I say they exist inside of a forest? Well, sucking dick, is it real? Who knows? But yeah, time for the moral. Reminder that you don't have to be exact, but if you get it kind of right or like similar, it has to basically be the same thing, maybe not the same wording, but it's fine. But anyway, 3, 2, 1. The moral. Swallow the truth like you would swallow cum. Beautiful moral. Of course, it is important to face the truth and realize the truth and take the truth into you. I said that like I actually was gonna say something else and I wanted to, but I don't know if I... But yeah, so ending my at least 2-day long hiatus, I had to swallow the truth that I should just kind of do it. Well, kind of If a tree falls, don't be stupid. Yeah, it just fall. Yeah, it does make a noise. Why wouldn't it? Perfect height and length. The truth is, there isn't solid. This is the perfect day, or this is the perfect dick length. it is all perspective. And if you're like, oh, you have to be over this amount to be cool, or if you're over this amount, you're stupid. Though being kind of tall kind of just sucks, but you know. Swallow the truth that your opinions on those things isn't totally around you, and everyone doesn't always agree with you. Red pill and blue pill? Well, the truth is just better. I don't know how to connect this to the meanness mortifier. It's just kind of a evil invention. It is evil. I did put evil souls into it, but it is real. So be careful who you're being mean to, because that's more so a deterring advice. Really, I had to say I want to be affected by that, so just don't be mean to people. It's more so of like a deterrence, because if you knew like one person had the meanness mortifier, like, do you want to take the risk that the person you're making fun of or being mean to has that? Do you really want to risk it? But anyway, yeah, good moral, good episode. That's it. Of course, the like you would swallow cum. Well, if you don't, well, you have to clean it up. So it's just more efficient that way, you know. So it's obviously it's just like efficient. Like being truthful is efficient. In what cum. Anyway, that's it. If you liked this, then do it. If you liked it, like it. If you liked it because you liked it, like it. If you liked me, then swallow the truth and do what you need to do. Anyway, I accidentally looked at the meanness mortifier, but if you just look at it, see, it is scary. I'm immune to it though, but it was really scary still. So it's Anyway, that's it. Bye bye.